Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the BKS show, Week 2 recaps. Here with my trusted friend Joey Sutton and Sammy Esses. I'm Jeffrey Gindy, back from a week-long hiatus. I was out on the West Coast for extended spring training.
He needed it.
So, speaking of that, I'd like to thank Sut for stepping in and hosting last week's show. He did a fabulous job. He was really phenomenal at the helm. As usual, this week we're going to break down last week's games, go over some key highlights and some star players, as well as look forward to next week's games and some previews for those. Before we get started though, I just want to give a quick shout out. This week's program has been generously donated by Kosher Corner. They're bringing the community together by giving very low prices for all your Passover groceries and everyday needs.
Get those coffee cakes.
The Drake's coffee cakes.
Coffee cakes?
Absolutely.
How are you?
They're right in the front. They have their own section.
Yeah.
I want to start out this week's recaps bringing out the brooms. I want to give shout out to the sweeps. This week, Mitzvah Men, that's Ray and Sammy S's team, annihilated Zul's team, which is Sephardic Food Fund, in a romp of 2 games, a sweep.
I wouldn't say a romp.
Well, you guys were finished very quickly. You worked very methodically, quickly, and you really ran through this, guys. What happened? You break it down for us.
The first game, we won the game 3-1. Both pitchers, Pete and Eddie Elbez, did a great job of just going through the order, and I mean, you could tell that the bats were not there yet. But
was it still cold and people weren't ready to warm up?
Yeah, it was a little cool, and the wind wasn't as bad as last week, but it was a little cold.
Zul was absent.
So Zul and Antar were not at the game.
Zul was absent, correct?
They had Eddie Doc Sassoon come in out of his 1-week retirement. Eddie, who's not good enough to, well, the league's not good enough for him, went a nice 0 for 4.
He's wearing the 45.
Eddie went 0 for 4.
Wow. He's wearing the 45 jersey like Jordan.
Right, back like the 4-5.
Yeah.
So wait, Sassoon went 0 for 4?
0 for 4.
Tough week.
Yeah, tough week for Sassoon. Hopefully he'll come out of his retirement.
But I heard he didn't play this year because he wanted to coach his son in Little League.
I mean, someone else he's coaching.
I don't want to say it, but you took the words out of my mouth.
Right?
Eddie, we love you. We hope to have you back next year. Anyway.
So getting back to
he doesn't watch this often, right?
Getting back
I love to keep watching.
Getting back to the game, we had DC lead off the game with a solo homer, crushed the ball over the left fielder's head, and you could tell after last week DC really wanted to get.
That's our boy.
He wanted to get started, and he got us off to a great start, and we never looked back.
One of the things you have to admire about DC is when he did come off the field last week, and I spoke to him in the locker room last week, he did tell me, said, Dave, how was week 1? How'd you perform? You know, just give me a little recap. And he was very, very upset with himself. Yeah. Not happy the way he performed. He said, you know, I wasn't there for, I wasn't there. My head wasn't in it. I didn't perform to any of my abilities. And this week, guy comes out, first at bat, blasts one over the left fielder. And
that's not really DC's type either.
That's talking about commitment by a player. Yeah. The guy probably went 2-3 times this week to the cages. He got focused. And I mean, that's what you got in a great player. DC is a great player.
I'll tell you, I had to run out last week, so I wasn't able to get that locker room talk that you got. But I definitely got his feedback via text message last week. He was really not happy. It absolutely ruined his week. I know he had a tough week, but let's, leave that in the past.
The best thing also about Dave, I saw him this week, and I said, Dave, how'd you play? All right, I played okay.
So that's what I was just getting at.
Nice and modest.
So now, today when I checked the website, I saw that he was a star on the site.
Killed him.
I took a picture of the site, sent it to him, and be like, Dave, you didn't even mention it.
Like, whatever.
He's like, whatever. He shrugs that off. He's great.
I played okay.
So, just a quick message to Reyes, if you're watching out there. We want DC. You know we want him.
You know, it's funny. Last week when he had a bad game, Ray called all the captains. Nobody wanted him.
I can't confirm that we received a phone call last week.
If you got a phone call and you didn't, I want to be traded.
I'm not the captain. You got to talk to ABS for that. But we want DC, and we're willing to give up a lot of power for him. So Ray, if you're out there, you know my number. Give me a call. I actually texted you today, but we didn't get very far with those messages. So. Sammy, you can continue.
We got Ralph Cohen back from after his first week of being married.
Right. And that Ralph Cohen, not Ralph Cohen left field on our time.
Right. Ralph shortstop Cohen and can't play his first week. And just having that Ralph Pete 3-4 in the lineup is it's got to be scary.
I heard they gave him a new nickname for the season. Ralph Joaz Cohen. We're going to be
Ralph Joaz. He actually had his 7th on Saturday, and then was one of the first ones to the McDonald field to be there for his warm-up. So kudos on that.
Batted 2 for 3 with runs scored.
It's in game 1.
In game 1.
Right.
So he was back. The marriage has no effect on him, and I believe he's not wearing a ring when he plays, so that won't slow him down. No, it'll be fine.
Overall, I mean, after the first game, we started the second game. Dave Schoenholt from Sephardic.
That's the guy that you couldn't pronounce his name week 1.
Yeah, sure.
Dave Schoenholt hit a bomb 2-run homer to give Sephardic Food Fund the 2-0 lead.
Start game 2.
To start game 2, but we proved that we could battle back again. We chipped away at Eddie Elbaz, and
again DC with another leadoff.
DC led off the bottom of the first with a home run again.
I think he ties a record.
I think he owns the record.
He owns the record.
And it's never been done that a player in any softball league hit a home run to lead off the game.
Lead off both games.
Right.
It's pretty impressive, Dave. Nice job.
Talk to me about last week's hero, the Shoof.com player of the week last week, Stephen Rudy.
Not this week.
How do you do?
Stephen Rudy was still basking in his glory.
So Stephen Rudy made a duty this week. Nice.
I wouldn't go that far, but
looks like a big duty to me.
It's like a goose egg to me. Whatever. I think Rudy will be back. He's a good player.
He did have 1 double in the RBI. Played stellar defense out there.
Excuse me about the cough, by the way.
But overall, we were very happy with our team. Our defense played excellent throughout both games.
So on that defensive note, Billy Nizrati, who had a rough first week in center field and in left field, I believe you guys switched him off. How did he come back in his second
Billy
week?
played center, and he looked like he was comfortable. He was great. He made every play. Between DC, Billy, and Jack S's, our outfield made every play. So we looked good out there.
All right, great. How'd you guys manage with the 11 players? Maybe Jackie Schweike trying to get into pitching.
Well, Ray told Jackie that Pete was his starting pitcher, and that's what we stuck with. Pete pitched great in game 1. He wanted the ball in game 2. Ray gave it to him, and even though after that first inning home run, Pete settled down, and he actually got stronger. I think in the 6th or 7th inning, he had about 3 strikeouts.
Wow.
So Pete got stronger as the game went along, and so. Right now, Pete's our everyday pitcher.
Nice.
Good. So that's about that game. I just want to mention one more thing. There's a poll on the website. If you haven't seen it, it's on the bottom left side corner of the website right now. Who you think the best leadoff hitter in the league is? Right now,
DC winning with a landslide.
But you know what? He deserves it. Like we just mentioned, he had 2 leadoff homers, and there's nothing like getting your team in front, especially in softball. Getting the early lead and really just trying to grow on that. So DC, good job by you. You didn't win yet. I don't think the polls are closed yet. Is that right, Sam?
The polls are not closed yet, but I want to mention, I noticed in your game, and one of the legends of the league, Ike Kassab, who was one of the best, never hit singles. Every single shot, he gets a single, it's automatically double because he's just so fast and so aggressive. And I noticed he had, I think, 3 doubles, a couple of walks. And so how did Ike look?
Like you said, Ike's very fast out of the box. So let's go back to our game. We played
Lev Aharon against Special Children's Center. So that's me and Sut's team, ABS's team, against
Lewis and Ike now.
Lewis, who was 2-0.
Correct. Who was 2-0 at the beginning of the day. Last week, holding up the sweep. Ike Mala pitching, it's always tremendous when he comes out, but go back to Ike Kassab right out of the box. He puts the ball hard on the floor, and he forces you to make a play on it, and honestly, right before, even when the third baseman has the ball, he's right before the third baseman can pick it up, he's 3/4 of the way
pressure's on
to first, forces the third baseman to make a bad throw. A couple of times the third baseman didn't make a bad throw, and all of a sudden you turn around and Ike's on second. They got to run around second. Guy moves him over. The next guy brings him in, and all of a sudden they're up 1-0. And now you got Ike Mallow with a lead, with a 1-0 lead.
Unstoppable.
What more can you ask for? So Ike Kassab is a tremendous leadoff hitter.